Why, hello. Welcome to this week's video. I decided to take a pause on the plaster art projects I've been working on to experiment with a little bit of a design project. I did some sketches. I'm going to vectorize them in Illustrator in a moment. And I decided to play around with the idea, what if Harry Potter mixed with Bauhaus? What could some of the symbols that we're familiar with look like? So I started to look at Bauhaus as a style. There's a lot of use of primary colors, geometric shapes, and so taking the idea of Harry Potter and the symbols we're so familiar with and paring them down to very simple shapes, I thought was a really fun project. So let's dive in. So the first thing I start to do is trace over my sketch with the pen tool. And what I'm doing is I'm just extrapolating all the shapes so that I can freely transform them, create different iterations of the design, and play around with the forms a little bit more freely. Keeping in mind, Bauhaus is very geometric and playing off of form and shape and color very minimally. So I felt coming into a design platform was the best way to approach this kind of project. This next one is really exciting for me. It's a little bit more detailed, bringing in some elements of the Elder Wand here in the middle, but it also resembles a bit of like a celestial pattern. The playing off of the circular shapes and the half circles, it really just speaks to the mid-century modern flair, and it seems like a motif that I would see on like a Frank Lloyd Wright rug in one of his Usonian homes. Just the color palette, it just felt like the simple shapes were really leaning into the Bauhaus and the mid-century kind of theme. Started to get really excited at this point. And of course, a lightning bolt. Believe it or not, the design idea for the broom came together pretty quickly. The idea was to simplify it down to radiating lines off of the center point, which would be the piece holding the bristles to the broomstick. And then the angles just kind of happened. For the iconic eyeglasses, I thought it was fitting to bring another similar shape from a previous symbol design in, so I pulled from the lightning bolt, and just to mimic more of what I was seeing reflected in the Bauhaus is like repeated lines, motifs and patterns. So I leveraged that for the glasses and leaned into that more so here with the hat. Really going in and repeating different forms and layering those angles to create these different facets of the hat fabric. Why not leave just one version? Let's make a couple other versions. This time really focusing on color and seeing how we can change the composition just with color. This one we're taking it a bit further and really filling out the whole composition. Leaning in again to motifs of repeating patterns like radiating lines, circles. And now for the reveal of the final compositions. Here are the Deathly Hallows. And what would they look like in a modern home? Some nice wall art. Could it work? I think it could. Definitely adds a nice pop of color, and I think it blends with the mid-century feel. Now let's see the final symbols. And how could they look as some cool art decor? I think it could certainly work. Minimal, tasteful, not too in your face, blends. Tune in next week to see the next art thing I make. Cool, yeah, see you there.